Okay, so this one, this piece from Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris, this one really got me going.
Yeah.
It's the April 4th one.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole theme is there's profit in all labor.
Right.
And I was like, oh, wow, that's a deep dive right there.
Yeah.
I mean, how much effort are we putting into things?
Yeah.
What's it actually getting us?
It's such a fundamental question, really.
Yeah. And how does that, tie into kind of our well-being and, all that sort of stuff?
Absolutely. And I think this particular entry you sent us, it really boils down to a very clear comparison.
Oh.
It's looking at what happens when you work hard, what are the results you get versus what happens when you just kind of talk and don't actually put in the effort.
Right.
So it's that contrast that I think is really fascinating.
Yeah. So let's start with the hard work side,
Oh.
the value of effort. What's the text saying about that?
So the core idea is that when you put in the work, the real consistent, hard work, you get results, you get tangible benefits. And the text calls that profit.
Profit. Yeah.
And it even uses Proverbs 14.23 to back this up, which says, in all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury.
To penury. Yeah. And that's a word that's not thrown around every day. But the text is pretty clear about what that means.
Yeah, it's not just being a little bit short on cash.
Right.
It's talking about real poverty, a state of lack and want.
Really serious stuff.
Exactly. So, the stakes are pretty high here.
Yeah, it's not messing around.
And, the contemporary English version of that proverb puts it even more plainly. It just says hard work is worthwhile, but empty talk will make you poor.
Wow, that's direct.
Yeah, it's a straight up link between what you do and what you get or what you don't do and the consequences.
So there are consequences to not taking action.
It seems that way.
Interesting. One thing that I thought was really interesting was the example the text uses to illustrate this point.
Oh, yeah.
It talks about, all these people who are always complaining, criticizing the government or their local leaders or whatever,
Right.
but they're not actually doing anything productive themselves.
Yeah, the armchair critic.
It's like all this energy going into complaining, but what's it actually achieving?
Yeah, and that's the point, isn't it? The text seems to imply that this constant negativity without any action, it's not just neutral.
Yeah.
It's actually contributing to that state of lack, that penury.
So it's like it's actively making things worse.
It's almost as if that energy could be channeled into something positive if they just took some action.
Like it's got all this potential energy, but it's just dissipating instead of, turning into something real.
Exactly.
Never becoming kinetic,
A good analogy.
So, okay, we've talked about the hard work side. Let's flip it over.
Yeah.
What does the text have to say about the pitfalls of being lazy or just, engaging in idle talk?
Well, the text is very clear about this. It says that talk without action is basically worthless. And as we've already discussed, it can lead to some pretty negative consequences.
Like poverty.
Exactly. It's not just a harmless thing to do.
Right. There are real consequences.
Yeah, the text really drives that point home.
And it even uses another passage from Proverbs to really solidify this point.
Right. Proverbs 10.4-5.
It says, he becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. He that gathereth in summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causeth shame.
I love that imagery.
It's so powerful, right? That contrast between summer and harvest.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Well, to me, gathering in summer, that speaks to being proactive, using the good times to work and prepare for what's coming.
Makes sense.
Whereas sleeping in harvest, that's all about missing out on opportunities.
Because you're not paying attention. You're not ready.
Right. And that leads to bad result, shame even.
So it's not just about working hard, it's about timing too.
Absolutely seizing the right moment.
It's like in surfing, you don't just paddle hard, you got to know when to pop up.
Exactly. Or you're going to wipe out.
And that applies to so many areas of life.
It really does.
Now, the text goes on to talk about something I found really interesting. It connects this idea of diligence to leadership.
Oh, yeah.
How does that work?
Well, it brings in Proverbs 12.24, which says, the hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute.
Under tribute, okay.
So it's saying that those who work hard and are effective, they're the ones who are more likely to end up in charge.
Like in positions of authority.
Exactly.
And under tribute, that's basically being dependent on others, right?
Yeah.
So it's a powerful contrast.
It is. It's like saying if you're diligent, you can lead. If you're lazy, you'll be led.
It makes you think about how much control we really have over our own lives.
Right? Are we shaping our own destiny, or are we just following someone else's?
Big questions.
For sure.
Now, the devotional doesn't stop there.
Mm-hmm.
It takes this whole idea of work and goes beyond just avoiding hardship.
Right. It starts talking about a bigger vision.
Yeah, like what our work can ultimately lead to.
Exactly. And it brings in this really interesting verse 3, John 1:2, which says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth."
So it's not just about material success, it's about being well-rounded,
Right. Spiritual health, physical health, it's all connected.
flourishing in every area of life.
Exactly.
Now, what I found really powerful here was this idea that this kind of holistic prosperity is actually the intended state.
Like
Yeah.
it's what we're supposed to be aiming for.
Yeah, and it's not just about luck or circumstance.
No, it's about aligning ourselves with a certain vision
Okay,
and applying wisdom and diligence in our pursuits.
so we have a role to play.
Absolutely. It's not just handed to us.
And there's this beautiful idea that when our efforts are aligned with this vision,
Yeah.
we're not just working alone.
There's a sense of support.
Yeah, like we're being blessed in our endeavors.
Exactly.
Like our hard work is part of something bigger.
And that can lead to abundance in all areas of our lives.
It's a pretty inspiring message.
It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what would you say is the core message that really stands out from this devotional?
I think the main takeaway is the emphasis on active and consistent hard work.
Yeah, that's a recurring theme.
And it's always contrasted with the emptiness of just talking or being idle.
Right.
It's like the text is saying real effort is the key to getting results and to achieving well-being.
Not just avoiding hardship, but actually thriving.
Exactly. It's about pursuing a full and abundant life.
And for you listening, this has got to make you think about your own journey, right?
Absolutely.
Effort you're putting in, the goals you're chasing. Where could you be more diligent?
And where might you be letting idle talk hold you back?
It's a good question to ponder.
It is. It's all about finding that balance between effort and results and ultimately creating a life that is truly prosperous.
Food for thought.
Definitely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
And keep those thought-provoking submissions coming.
We love exploring them with you.
Until next time.
See you then.
For more information on how you can grow spiritually using Rhapsody of Realities, please visit our website, www.rhapsodyofrealities.org, or you can also visit rin.rhapsodyofrealities.org/salvation. Thank you.